Welcome back, RJB here, and we've got ourselves yet another match with hamburgersasu here on the Terran on the top left corner, and of course his opponent is none other than DJLRNFWJT, and I don't know, I have no clue, not the slightest clue who this person is, but I have high expectations. And my high expectations have at times betrayed me, stabbed me right in the back, and left me bleeding with no help for recovery. But this time around I am optimistic. I'm optimistic that this guy is going to deliver the goods that we have been anticipating and waiting for, because we always want to see some of that high level gameplay here on Fastest from the Koreans. Most of the times when I pick the name like hamburgersasu, the games are going to be pretty darn good. This time around, well, it's a gamble. Because, well, most of the times letter spam names like this are pretty good players, but I just don't know if this guy is any good. He displays a very good manner pylon there to block off access to that refinery there, so the gas income is going to be a little bit late and slow for hamburgersasu here, who opted for a 2-barrack build order, but he immediately adds on a third one, because he knows he's going to need more marines. So he was planning on going for fire bats with an early academy, but that has been put to a halt, given that this pylon there is making it impossible for him to mine minerals. So instead we're going to be looking at some very micro-intense action, because hamburgersasu is going to have to keep those marines alive against those zealots coming in from DJ's base. DJ is well on his way with getting his build order all in order, so to speak. He's got the Nexus coming in there after the 2 gateways there, after he built the 2 zealots. Forge there coming in as well to build 2 cannons there in the front. And of course we're going to be seeing 2 assimilators coming in here on the side right away as well. Wait, no. Alright, he's going for 2. For a moment I was fearing that he was going for a single one, but nope, it's 2. So the 2 barrack marine production is sufficient to keep those zealots away. The pylon here got killed as well, so we can start mining gas as well, finally. But first he's going for a +1 command center there, right there in the base, and he's going to add on some depots and an academy there right afterwards, I'm sure. But first he is facing a couple more zealots standing there in the front, waiting for more friends to arrive from the base, so he can try to look for a misstep from hamburgersasu. Hamburgersasu is playing it really safe here. You can already see 2 depots coming down here in the front to start a wall, so that's going to be pretty much impossible for DJ to get through once the wall is finished, of course. hamburgersasu might just... I had a feeling he might go for an offensive maneuver, but given that his medics are delayed, his stimmer brigade is delayed, I think he's just going to stay here, stay tight, stay put, and wait for DJ to throw the first punch. The first punch is going to come in. He's going to try to get some marine kills here with those zealots. Zealots are coming in from the front. He's microing backwards. He's microing his zealots in between those marines pretty well. He's going to get more kills than I anticipated. And he actually winds up clearing out over half of the marines. Kills a lot of them. Only 5 marines left there. One of those zealots almost makes it through. That's definitely a worthy trade-off there for DJ, because that is a lot of lost marines there, and that is going to make defending in the future against whatever DJ is going for significantly more difficult. There's a Citadel of Adun there coming down on the bottom, and there's a Robo facility coming out here in the front, maybe 2 of them even. Once he can afford the second one, of course. He does have the gas for it, but doesn't have the minerals for it just yet. He's well on track though. He hasn't missed a single beat so far with spending his minerals the moment they come in. Unlike a certain person from a video I casted yesterday, where the Protoss player kind of messed up with his timings because he was lacking multitasking, the DJ here is looking very strong and very solid. His APM is also very impressive right there. So 3rd gateway comes in pretty early. We might see a Templar's archive there as well. We're not seeing a second robotic facility there though, so I'm gonna go and guess on Dark Templars coming in. Well, all I know, he's got a lot of gas, and he isn't really spending it. Building more cannons are in the front, just in case hamburgersasu wants to try and burst through with medics and marines, but I don't think that's a real option that he'll be going for anytime soon. Temple's Archive comes in there for for DJ, so DJ is probably going for those Dark Templars. He has 3 gateways there, so he can make 3 of them at the same time, but we see a second Robo coming in there as well. Whereas for hamburgersasu, we're only just now seeing a starport. Well, it's pretty well on time. He's going for raids, most likely maybe for a dropship to hit or land one of those tank drops there on the probes. But first we're seeing some very minor action here from hamburgersasu, moving out into the middle. Of course placing his marines here in the front, in front of those cannons. But there's no medics, so he can't really force his way through, because his marines wouldn't get healed. The medics have just spawned and are on the way, I'm sure, all the way to the middle here, so he can try to go in. But I think he moves out a little bit too early. Scan comes down there on DJ. He scans the nexuses there at the cyber core. He doesn't really get much information other than things he already knew were 100% for certain there. But Templars are now in the gateways. 2 more gateways are being added on. He also has a support bay now on the way. So we might be seeing 2 Reavers coming out from those 2 robos. But hamburgersasu first decides to pull back because he sees that this gateway here in the front is going to make it impossible for him to focus down those cannons there. And the zealots, of course, are there to help keep those cannons alive. So he turns tail, changes his mind. The Dark Templars have finished. DJ picks them up. He's got a Corsair on the way to help escort future drops into hamburgersasu's base. hamburgersasu did not make a dropship yet. He does have some tanks there in the front. He's got a turret there under production on the side, and the Templars are unloading there on the side. They're going to try to kill the turret as fast as he can. Marines are coming in though before the turret goes down. The Dark Templars leave the detection zone just in time. Scan comes down. He gets a scan on both. Actually, he misses the scan on this one, so that one stays alive there. This one on the bottom corner also stays alive, and this one's going to hunt for more stuff to kill there on the other side of the base, because there's no Marines or units here. So that one's going to go down as well. hamburgersasu is very focused on trying to get stuff done or down here in his base to get detection up, because he doesn't have scan energy yet. Oh, he has scan energy actually. So he takes down that one at the bottom corner. Now he's going to go for one at the top corner as well. Maybe he's going to focus on the next shuttle that's for sure going to come in over this opened up area. Unloads the Dark Templars there on the bottom corner. hamburgersasu is not able to respond, throws on the scan. He tried to go for the shuttle first, but there's too many Dark Templars for him to take down with the Marines, so the Dark Templars are going to come out victorious, clearing out, I think, about 7 or so Marines. Tank drop here, though, lands inside of hamburgersasu's, inside of DJ's base, but he doesn't get any probe kills except for 1. So that's a pretty bad situation for hamburgersasu now, because he is getting, well, he's getting annoyed and tickled, so to speak, by those Dark Templars. But those Dark Templars have picked up way more Marine kills than they realistically should have. This is 4, 7, 5. So we're looking at, I think, about 16 Marine kills, and he's even flying in more Dark Templars. hamburgersasu does have those turrets up here on the side now, so he should be somewhat safe, but those Dark Templars can keep his base small, and the Zealots coming, the Reavers coming in to support the Dark Templars, but one of the Reavers immediately goes down to tank shots coming in from those units are in the back, but the Reaver there stays alive, almost gets a kill on the tank. Another tank spawns. The Marines are now on the chase, trying to hunt down that Reaver inside the shuttle, but there's a Dark Templar here as well on the side, so he's going to unload it right behind the Dark Templar, but the Dark Templar is going to get taken down as well, because he's... he gets 2 Marine kills there instead of the Dark Templar going down. The Dark Templar does go down eventually, I'm sure, though at the moment it is running out of the detection zone, and the Reaver there inside the shuttle gets brought to safety, while another drop here in the base is in the process of being loaded up. So he hasn't really been putting his probes on the minerals that diligently, but he has been spending all his minerals very well. And he's dealing damage, which is the most important part of this build order and its approach. He's not exposing himself to any counterattacks as long as he keeps dealing damage to hamburgersasu. But on the upside though, hamburgersasu still has all of his SCVs. He didn't lose a single one except for a couple of them on the sides that he lost to the Dark Templars. But he is of course prepared and willing to lose those. So this is going to be a Reaver drop coming in from the bottom side, but a Reaver drop coming in from the top side there as well. And this one is completely undetected because hamburgersasu is looking at the one at the bottom. And he's arriving on the scene right next to the SCVs, but the Scarab is stuck behind the scan, and he gets no SCV kills because it simply takes too long to get over there. He gets a lot of Marine kills there though, and he's going to try to micro the Reaver shuttle there, I'm sure, to get even more Marine kills. But eventually the Reaver goes down to a tank shot, but once more Reaver shuttles with Templars and Zealots coming in from the bottom side of hamburgersasu's base, and this time the Templars are going to unload on the scene. 2 of them unloading right on top of the SCVs, and he gets, I think, about 25 or 26 SV kills. So that is a huge hit there for DJ on hamburgersasu, and that definitely puts him in a very good position to start building and snowballing the game into a win. hamburgersasu is really struggling here with DJ's approach, and DJ has been playing this really smartly, really well. with great micro control and a great sense of where he should be going inside of hamburgersasu's base to build himself an advantage, while also somewhat well spending his minerals. He's doing a pretty good job. I'm pretty impressed. So he decides to go for a lot of cannons here to protect his minerals from those tank drops, which are always a real threat if you don't have enough cannons. Starts building more gateways, starts building pylons to add even more gateways here. And he's got all of his upgrades on the way that he needs. Templar energy, which of course makes it so that the Templars spawn with 62.5 energy instead of 50, makes dropping a little bit easier. So you can send those Templars out into the fray faster than if you hadn't or didn't have that upgrade. More robos coming in there as well. He's got only shield on the way, which is quite peculiar. He does have Dragoon Ranger on the way. Also finished level... He didn't finish level 1 weapon. This is a very odd build order here from DJ in the sense of what he's going for with his upgrades, but I am 100% sure he wants to switch over into possibly carriers in the near future. Nonetheless, it strikes me as odd why he would be going for shield upgrades first. Maybe because shield upgrades are universal, they apply to both ground and air units, and he's using Corsairs and shuttles, so he's relying on keeping those shuttles and Corsairs alive for longer than if he didn't have that shield upgrade. Nonetheless, it strikes me as a little odd. Usually you would see weapon upgrade and armor upgrades first, then of course add 2 more. Well, alright, he's got armor upgrade here on the way, and he's got weapon upgrade on the way here as well with the Forge, so he is going for all upgrades, but he wanted to get that shield upgrade first. Zealot lags are spawning very soon. He's got pretty much everything he needs on the way, but a Hamburgersasu is pretty well, it's done a pretty good job recovering from that loss of SCVs and loss of income there. He's got a lot of drop here inside of his base. A lot of units are loading now outside the shuttles, and he's not pulling his SCVs away, and he pulls them away just in time. But the Templars are storming on top of the Marines there on the side. He gets a lot of Marine kills there, but eventually does not get the kills where he wants them, which is on the SCVs. Those SCVs, they're staying alive. So nothing to fear for him right there, but he does have another drop here on the way. But the fact that he only has 3 robos means that the shuttles are not coming out as fast as he could or would like them to. If he had like 4 or 5 robos in total, he could load up 4 or 5 shuttles at a time, but at the moment he's looking at only 3 shuttles at a time, but maybe that is just enough. 4 Templars, 8 Zealots might just do the trick. But Hamburgersasu is recovering. He's on 130 supply against 190 supply from DJ. DJ does have a lot of gateways all over his base, and I need a drink. I need a drink. Delicious. And just in time to see this drop flying away from DJ's base over to Hamburgersasu. He's gonna fly over the front. How bold and brazen to do that one. He's unloading in the front though. He's unloading here in the front. He's unloading behind the enemy lines, and he's going to storm whatever he finds to death with those Templars, but the Marines are too far away and the Templars dying too. Well, he didn't get the results that he wanted, really. I'm sure he had some great things in mind, but it didn't really work out. He wanted to break a hole in this wall, but the Marines were too far away for his Templars to storm, so he couldn't really get it done. Or maybe they simply didn't have the energy yet. I should have clicked on one of them to see if they did or didn't. But in the end, though, the wall here in the front is going to go down, and he still has those shuttles, so he can load up another drop soon and fast and just send out another one. Also, losing those depots here in the front puts Hamburgersasu in a supply deficit. So he's supply stuck for a little while from now on. He's moving tanks there to the front to try and remedy the loss of this frontal portion here, but he's going to have to build new depots there in the front, get a new wall to keep DJ out, because now DJ has one more option of attacks, which is walking through the front and threatening those tanks here, instead of being forced to break through a wall first or sending units in through with shuttles from the sides. Drop there coming in from the side, though. There's nothing inside the shuttles except, well, there's stuff inside this. I mean, there's no Templars inside. That's what I meant. There's obviously units inside those shuttles. Gonna try to fly in a fake, but the shuttle with the fake Zealot that he could have dropped on top of the SCVs there goes down. In which case, the tanks could have killed the SCVs with AoE. But another drop there comes in from the bottom side, and this one's gonna make it in all the way. He's gonna load there on target, on destination. SCVs are running away, but they're not running away far enough. The shuttles appear to be empty. Who would have thought that his shuttles would be empty? Maybe he lost the units that he had in them somewhere over here, and they never arrived there on the scene. Anyway, another set of shuttles is already moving out, so he's really in the drop spam mode where he just makes a drop, sends it out, attacks, and repeats, and sooner or later he will get done what he wants to get done. These shuttles, though, are gonna make it in all the way, and this time I'm sure there's stuff in there, so he starts unloading. We're very close to the SCVs there. There's 2 Templars there. He gets 1 storm off, 2 storm. He dodges right back into the storm. There's nowhere to go, and he loses all the SCVs he had on the minerals. There's only 30 of them left, and very interestingly, only 300 minerals as well. He's gonna have to pull all of his SCVs back to the minerals and just try to recover as fast as he can. The question now becomes, can hamburgersasu stay alive, or can DJ end the game right here, right now? We do have some aggressive moves coming in here from hamburgersasu, who's putting tanks up on the hill to try and push those cannons here. But at the moment, he can't really afford anything, really. The upside is, though, he doesn't really need any more gas income because he has 2200 gas. With another drop already coming in, there's no drop D here yet in place, although the Marines are focusing on the shuttles. The shuttles are unloading, the Templar unloads are right next to the SCVs, and he gets a storm up on those SCVs, and he kills 8 of them. That's a beautiful hit there from DJ. DJ is getting some real results here, and hamburgersasu having some real trouble preventing damage on his SCV line there in the back. I'm really liking DJ's playstyle. His APM is high. He's really doing a great job multitasking. His minerals are still pretty low, although do note he is queuing up like 5 units in every single gateway, so he doesn't have to focus on putting new ones in time and time again. Because at the moment, all he has to do is just load up shuttles, which he doesn't have to pay attention to because he's got so many shuttles queued up. Reavers there as well, got so many Zealots queued up as well, so you can just focus on attacking for the next 2 minutes instead of having to put units in the queue in his gateways, which is actually pretty smart considering it is definitely something you can afford to do on fastest map. Just put 5 in each gateway and start sending out attacks if you know you are in the green zone, being safe from counterattacks, meaning of course you can just keep attacking non-stop, keep the pressure up, and hopefully get a kill on your opponent. And after breaking through the wall here in the front, after killing some of those bunkers, and after killing units behind the bunkers, he's sending in just a mass attack through the front door. And there's a shuttle there coming in as well with 2 Reavers. He's going to micro those 2 Reavers with the shuttle there to take down those bunkers faster and faster, kill the tank in the back as well. The hamburgersasu is looking at insurmountable odds because this is going to be impossible for him to overcome. Tanks are moving from the back to the front. He's trying to remedy the bleeding. He's trying to remedy the brutal wounds that he is suffering from. Will he be able to do it? There's only 5 tanks, 2 Marines there. Nothing much left there in the base. He cannot afford to build anything new. He does have things on the way in the queue from those buildings, but the production capability is simply too low to keep up with the stream of units coming in from DJ's base. And DJ here for certainly has won this game number 1 against hamburgersasu within only, I think, about 17 minutes? No, not even 17 minutes. It was 16 minutes, 46 seconds. And yeah, he calls for another game. So we're going to be seeing another game there. He didn't even call the GG. He just said, well, let's go another one. So yeah, DJ fought really well. Great coordination. Not a lot of tech advancement past the point of just drop tech. Like no arbiters, no carriers. But he proved to us that he didn't need it. He proved to us that he has the ability to get a lot of stuff achieved with simple gateway units, mass attacks, and drops, of course. Also, I was really a big fan of how he played the early game with the Dark Templars and the Reavers, getting some real damage down on hamburgersasu, who had some real troubles defending against that approach, which definitely set him back by quite a bit. Not much, but quite a bit. Anyway, let's move over to game number 2, see how game number 2 is going to pan out, because I'm quite interested in seeing whether hamburgersasu can come back and get himself a win, or whether he's going to be stuck losing once again. Pretty interesting stats here, a lot of minerals as you would expect, a lot of buildings raised, a lot of unit skill as well. And so we return with game number 2. hamburgersasu on the orange Terran on the middle right of the map, and DJ on the bottom right corner, once again playing the Protoss. Now, hamburgersasu's Terran isn't easy to beat, but DJ just showed that he can do it. And hamburgersasu showed that he was very close to coming out on top, but he was very sloppy with his SCV control. And that really backfired on him there, because he just got nuked. Theoretically speaking, of course. His SCVs got nuked by storms. They got shocked to death, basically. As Arnold Schwarzenegger once said, you gotta shock the muscle if you want it to grow. Sadly, it doesn't work for SCVs in the same way, because if you shock those SCVs, they die. As we've seen right here, right now. Well, in the last game, of course. They finally find him pretty early on, and hamburgersasu is gambling on that DJ is on the top corner, but he's wrong on that one. Probe there is still running in circles, running away from the SCV. Great Michael there coming in from the probe, killing, well, trying to kill SCVs, but, well, as the marina spawned, so now he's just going to have to run away with that not very damaged probe, which is recovering its shield and running back to safety, or it's going to go for another round back into the base, which means it's going to perish sooner or later to a marine. Runs away just in time, back to the middle of the map. You know, I have a feeling that this guy might... I wanted to say this guy might be Brain, but Brain would have played the last game quite differently. Although Brain would have played it just as smartly. But Brain tends to progress into further tech quicker than DJ did. Nonetheless, DJ is going for the same build order there. Marine gets into the base, gets information. Cannon's going to come up in the front there as well, but hamburgersasu this time round does not get his gas blocked, but he didn't make a gas, which is pretty much the same thing. So you won't be seeing an early academy, won't be seeing an early attack here from hamburgersasu, because DJ is just going to get cannons up there in the front, get 2 assimilators and a cybercore, and be on his way to getting all the attack that he wants and needs. SV there, the marine dies. SV there will probably get to safety. Cannons are in the front, 3 of them in total, because I think that DJ is expecting hamburgersasu to be aggressive, which is something that hamburgersasu does like to be. He likes to be the aggressor in Terran versus Protoss, if given even an inch or a chance to do so. But he's not going for it. He's going for a +1 command center there first. He still has marines there on the way. No command, no gas coming in just yet. Zealots are moving for the attack here in the front. He's going to attack, and he's going to try to micro his Zealots forward as he is attacking to try and counteract the marine micro from hamburgersasu, doing so quite well, getting a lot of marine kills once again, just like last game. But this time around, the Zealots, well, he actually gets just about the same amount of kills there. There's not a lot of micro you can do with marines if the Zealots are micro that well in conjunction or in opposition or in parallel to the marine micro. I think that's the word. In parallel to the marine micro, the Zealot micro was quite significant in the end result. A lot of mumbo jumbo, humbo humbo lumbo jumbo words used there to sound interesting. Nonetheless, we've got more cannons coming out in the front. No reason, no clue why he's going for that many cannons after he dealt so many blows to the marine count. But of course, he doesn't know what hamburgersasu is up to. He's just playing it very, very safe. 1 cannon there at the nexus against firebats coming in. Now scouting the corner. Nah, yeah, he's going to scout the corner there to see if there's firebats there or barracks there. Landed over the hill, but there's none there. Going to build a pylon there just to be sure, though, because he doesn't want to get caught out with the firebats coming in, rushing in, killing his probes. 2 robots coming out there in the base, not in the front, but all the way here in the back. He does not want to risk losing them. So he's playing it awfully safe here. He's playing it awfully, awfully safe. This time around, we don't see a Citadel of a Dune yet, though. It might come down here in the bottom corner, which is a place some people like to place their Citadel of Doom. Zealous tried to get in once again, but this time around, no amount of micro is going to help him get more marine kills, because there's simply too many of them. We have no Citadel still. We do have a support bay, so no Dark Templars for sure. Because if he was going for Dark Templars, we would have seen the Citadel of Dune long ago. But Reavers it's going to be. He's going to go for 2 Reavers after the shuttle finishes. He's got Zealots there on the way soon as well. There's a lot of gateways there without a Citadel. Most of the time people go for a Citadel pretty early so they can get Zealot speed. But he's not going to get early Zealot speed to match with his Zealot mass, which is quite interesting. Going for a 3rd Robo instead of a Citadel Citadel comes down in the bottom corner. So as I mentioned, the Citadel is there in the bottom corner, just because most of the time Terrans don't scan this bottom corner. So yeah, I mean, it's a given that it will be there, but if the Citadel and the Templars Archive are there earlier, most of the times it's a dead giveaway that Templars, or Dark Templars, or High Templars are on the way. Templars Archive there coming in as well. Corsairs for the shuttle support on the way too. He is not going for a double reader pickup. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He's turning tail, turning back around. Zealot Speed is also on the way, but his Zealot Speed will finish way too late to really get through the front, I wanted to say, but look at this. hamburgersasu used the scan, saw the 3-4 robos, so he is expecting a drop to be coming in. But DJ is actually going for the front, although he gets spotted out by the Marine there, sees the shuttle, sees the Reavers, so he might just pull those Marines from the back to the front. But first we see DJ turning around, turning away, because he feels he cannot get in comfortably, given that there is just an engineering bay being built here in the front to keep them away, or to force them to walk in single file, so one at a time. So instead, we are waiting for more shuttles, more Reavers coming in from DJ, and more gateways and other stuff there as well. Stormgate is there on the way, Zealot Speed is about finished now. We don't have ground upgrades yet, we don't have Dragoon range yet. Not getting air upgrades yet, just focusing on facilitating that mass drop here on the bottom corner. There's a bunker there as well with Marines in it, so those Marines are gonna stay alive. The Reavers are unloading 3 Reavers there and I think only 2 Zealots. But those Zealots there are the prime focus target from the Marines. So the Marines are gonna have to kill the Zealots first, which gives those Reavers the time to kill Marines. And he's dealing a lot of damage there with the Reavers, and first Harvard has to pull the tanks from the back to the bottom side, really. At the same time, more shuttles are flying in because he preserved the shuttles, and now the Zealots are killing units here inside of hamburgersasu base. hamburgersasu is looking at a very, very dire situation, and he ends up losing a bunch of SCVs there as well, but he kills the wrong side, but nonetheless loses a bunch of them. Marines are coming in from the front to the back. Units are... hamburgersasu is in shambles. This is absolute terror, but he does wind up clearing out all the Reavers, but it takes quite a while. And that second wave of Zealots flying in really did a number on him. But he stays alive. Another drop there has been loaded up though. These 2 Templars might join the mix as well for a 4-storm Templar drop. Which is absolutely disgusting if he manages to land those storm drops. But hamburgersasu first gets himself a nice little bit of time to breathe. Not a lot. It's going to be about 30 to 50 seconds of breathing time before DJ flies back in for more. Flies in from a different direction, flies over turret, it gets spotted out by the sound and the visuals. hamburgersasu goes in to try and kill the Templars and the Zealots, but there's simply too many Templars and Zealots there on the low ground. The storm comes down on the SCVs, he kills a couple of them, but the Templars actually didn't get all their storms off because a couple of them died to the Marine fire and the tank fire before he got anything significant done. On the upside though, he keeps those... Wait, he didn't unload all of them? Oh, he still has some Zealots there inside the shuttles. He didn't unload all of them. But the best part is he kept the shuttles and the Corsairs alive so he can return them back to base and maybe load them up, or maybe load even more units up, because 3 more shuttles are on the way, which should be finishing right about the time that those shuttles return back home. hamburgersasu is going to try to build new turrets here on the bottom wall. Will it be enough? Will he be quick enough? That is the big question, really. Finally, upgrades are on the way. Shields again, and Dragoon range now on the way too, so we can maybe switch over into Dragoons. More robos coming in there as well, more pylons, because he supplies them. Also, one of the big things I always experience is like, building pylons is not fun. Specifically if you're on a low turn rate, it's not fun to build those pylons, because it just is such a slow process. So 2 more forges there in the bottom, so he can get all upgrades he needs at the same time. Scan comes out from hamburgersasu and he sees just this top corner there. He doesn't see that there's carriers on the way yet. Drop comes in. This time around, hamburgersasu is having a lot easier time taking down those shuttles, but the Zealots are landing on top of the Marines and killing a bunch of Marines there with the splash damage from the tanks there as well. But another drop has already been loaded up, so he's going for a double drop in less than in the span of 10 seconds. And this one has Templars. Templar unloads, but Templar goes down too. The siege tanks are in the back pretty much instantly. So no Stormler on the SCVs, which would have been deadly because hamburgersasu was playing on a knife's edge because he wasn't pulling his SCVs to safety. But hamburgersasu stays alive, keeps himself in the game, doesn't lose any SCVs this time around. He can now finally afford to add on more structures to his base. He's got 7 barracks, so that's a lot of marine defense he's got going there. He only has 2 refineries for gas income, but that has been enough so far in this game. Also reinforcing the frontal choke there. The shuttles are flying back the same way as last time. He's building cannons or gateways on the middle here now as well, because he's of course in danger of getting his entrance latched by tanks, either here on the low ground or up on the hill, which is not a lot of fun if you're a cornered Protoss trying to attack that Terran. We might be seeing a lot of gateways on the middle, but first he's going to try to land another drop here on hamburgersasu. He's coming in from the top side there. He's going to fly in from the bottom side there as well. 2 drops are at the same time. He flies in. This time around, hamburgersasu is having a more difficult time responding. Storm comes down on the SCVs, but the wrong SCVs, because the SCV stack has been running the safety there, but he's killing a lot of Marines and stuff there as well. Is there more units in there? He does have some Zealots in there. You can try to unload them on top of the Zealots, the SCVs, and maybe get some SCV kills with this tank splash damage. That's not going to happen for now, so hamburgersasu holding on, staying in there and getting his base bigger, keeping his SCVs alive. Just gets some mining downtime, but he's looking pretty good. Does need more factories there though, but he just, as long as he doesn't lose his tanks, he's completely fine. A lot of units unloading here on the side though, once again getting stormed up on the SCVs that were not yet put on the minerals, and a lot of Marines there, and he eventually does not get the same results as last game, but the frequency of his drops has been pretty impressive. Gateways being built there on the middle by DJ. DJ is on 69 probes, and only 5 assimilators for gas income, which apparently is more than enough because he's relying mostly on cheap gateway units like Templars and Zealots, which don't cost a lot of gas if you mix it up correctly. A lot of drop coming in, but this time around the Marines see it coming and he's sniping the target, firing the shells before they can arrive on the scene. But this time he's going to arrive on the scene there, but there's no Templars in there, just Zealots there to kill units, and he's doing so to great success because hamburgersasu supply count has dropped by I think about 40 or 50 during this entire exchange. Lost a lot of tanks there as well. So the game is looking better and better for DJ, as long as he is quick enough with sending in the next wave of units. He's trying to go in through the front. The engineering bay does not block the Zealots, but he does force him to walk in single file, and they're blocking themselves in the end. He's going to focus down that engineering bay there, but he's sending another drop there at the same time. Unloading Templars on the low ground. Templars 3, 4. He storms his own Templars to death. Very unfortunate, because that might have been just a lot of SCV kills there, but he was a little bit too greedy with his Templar storm placement, which somewhat backfired. We're now looking at 8 gateways here on the middle, looking pretty good there. You can start setting them in. There's no ledge on here yet, because well, any time he unloads, puts any units here in the corner, like right here, it gets taken down by these drops coming in from this bottom left corner of hamburgersasu's base. He's using the same angle time and time again. hamburgersasu makes a huge mistake there by... Oh, wait! He actually focused on the correct drop. This drop was a distraction drop with Zealots to pull units away from the bottom corner, but he used the scan there at the same time. And as this one was, as the other drop was flying in, it had Templars in there, and he killed the shuttles just in time. Didn't lose any SCVs once again. So DJ's rinse and repeat method is keeping hamburgersasu busy. It's keeping him on low minerals, but it's not keeping him on a low SCV count. It is keeping his base small though, because hamburgersasu is having a real difficult time getting enough income, pulling his SCVs to safety time and time again. Once again comes in from the front. There's no Marines in the back there this time around to keep them safe. There's 2 drops once again coming in. This one was just a fake. This one was just a fake. There's nothing in there whatsoever. And he manages to kill the wall in the front, but the bunkers are still alive, and he has to fight through those bunkers first. There's 2 SCVs here, 3 maybe? Nope, just 2 that are rebuilding the wall. And I don't think DJ is going to give him just enough time to rebuild that wall, because look at this, he's coming in with another attack already. Dragoons and Zealots this time around. There's only one tank there, he has to move more tanks here to the front. Marines are moving to the front. There's a Templar there in the mix as well, which is going to try to storm those Marines to death. He doesn't get a storm off because he kind of forgets he sent it. Unfortunate for DJ. Yeah, DJ does not spend much time building whatsoever. He just wants to attack, and attack non-stop. And he's doing so quite well. Once again, the bunkers are in danger of going down, and this time they will for sure go down, but tanks are moving from the back to the front. Marines doing the same. He has a 1-1 upgrades on those units, so pretty impressive upgrading there, but he's a little bit behind on DJ, who's on 1-2-1, though the difference is negligible. And I do think that hamburgersasu will get level 2 before DJ does, but Templars this time are arriving next to the SCVs once again, but SCVs they're staying alive because he target fires the Templars to death before they can storm. Very risky stuff, but if it works, it pays off, because you have no lost mining time. But if it doesn't work, you lose your SCVs and you die and you lose the game. So it's practically Russian roulette that he's playing there with his own life, at least. Another drop comes in. Templar arrives on the scene, Templar storms, and SCVs are not getting away in time. He loses about 20 of them. There's more Templars here. No storms though, no storms left. He used all the storms he had. And even more shuttles coming in to kill turrets. This DJ guy is absolutely insane with the frequency of his attacks and the execution of them. There is not a single moment of rest for hamburgersasu, who's probably playing against one of the most difficult Protoss's I've seen to date. This is really great macro coming in from DJ. His minerals are pretty much on 0. He's got every single gateway filled up with units, and he's constantly attacking, multitasking, sending units in. He doesn't have to build a base as long as I mentioned last game, as long as he keeps up the pressure. And the right amount of pressure will achieve great results. Although, right now he's having trouble getting through the front there because there's a lot of tanks there behind those bunkers, and the Dragoons don't do well if there are structures in between the tanks and themselves. Zealots move to the middle. Dragoons have spawned in the middle there as well. We don't have any shuttles on the map at the moment, and there are some shuttles in production. They're just finishing up. He's got 4 Templars and I think about exactly 8 Zealots there as well, going in through the front there. Zealots are getting on top of the tanks, getting through the bunkers, distracting from those Dragoons that are in the back, so that the tanks eventually... The Marines and tanks eventually clear out the Zealots, and he's forced to pull back the Dragoons. He doesn't waste them, so this is very smart, because if he wastes them, he doesn't really get any results with them. So it's better just pull them back, wait for his unit army size to remax 200, and then go in once again. Drop comes in, there's 4 or 5 Templars here, and he gets some storms off, but SCV is dodging the storms expertly. Does get a couple of SCV kills there, so beautifully done. But most of the SCVs stay alive, but his income is still pretty low with only those 48 SCVs there on the minerals. No SCVs there on the gas, he pulled most of them off, so his income is actually pretty good, but he is constantly getting attacked, constantly forced to spend, and he's forced to spend more than is coming in. This is an absolute barrage of madness. Once again, another drop already comes in. This guy knows no breaks, knows no mercy for his opponent, but the storm is really well dodged, but he does lose 16 of his SCVs once again. So, very slowly, hamburgersasu is getting picked apart. He's playing really hard, playing his best, playing his heart out. We can see that on his APM is 400. He's really trying his hardest, he's trying his best. He's got 1-2 upgrades on the Marines, 1-1 on the tanks. Got 2-3-2 there on the gateway units, almost a level 3-3-3. So once again goes in through the front, but a drop comes in from the side as well to unload on top of the units behind the bunkers, and that might just be the nail in the coffin, because now all those units are on top of the tanks, and the tanks are going down, the Zealots are coming through. The storm came down there on the Marines as well, and this time around he's going to break through the front for sure. Almost. But given the fact that there's only... Wait, I heard... Oh, more units coming in. No break, no mercy. Not given the time to rebuild. It's pretty much non-stop attacks. Like the biggest breaks we've seen in DJ attacking hamburgersasu were at most 30 seconds. But those 30 seconds have not been frequent. Most of the times like 5 seconds in between. Once again, the storm drop comes down on the SCVs, and he gets some SCV kills there, and DJ knows that this game is pretty much over because he's laughing at his opponent. He's laughing at him. He's mocking him. As hamburgersasu would often do himself, he often mocks or laughs at his opponents, but this time around he's on the receiving end. hamburgersasu is trying so hard though. Templar's rolling into their death by accident. Oopsie poopsie. Building a new wall here in the front. Well, not a real wall, more or less just bunkers. He cannot afford to build a wall because income is too low. Shuttle's coming in once again. This time this Templars unload once again. There's 2 Templars right. Oh, he leaves before the SCVs die. He QQ'd out of there before he had the chance to even say goodbye to those lovely SCVs that kept him afloat, economically speaking, for so long. He just abandoned them like a true overlord does when times get tough. You run to safety, run to the hills, run and say no goodbye, just disappear from the face of the earth. And that's what hamburgersasu did, his famed disappearing act. Leaving the game at the end, well, before the end, very close to the end. He just disappears off the stage, and no more is heard of him. DJ played really well, even though he didn't build a lot of stuff. I mean, he's got 6 gateways there, another 6 here, so that's a total of 14. Looking at 18, 23 gateways. In my opinion, 23 gateways is just enough. Just a lot of players like to build like 40 of them in total. Some players also like to progress into filling out their base, like building a lot of stargates here. But DJ knew that his approach was working. He knew that the constant drop pressure was getting the results that he wanted. He knew he was keeping hamburgersasu too small for a counterattack, so he was never really in need of building stargates to get carriers or arbiters or, well, mass reversing in the bottom corner to kill those depots. He just had to keep up the pressure non-stop. I'm 100% sure that maybe even Brain God would have significant trouble playing against DJ. I can't tell for sure though, I can't tell for sure. This just looked very difficult to play against because I've very rarely seen someone be this stupidly frequent and consistent with their attacks. Like, this was really, really well played from DJ. And I mean, we all know that Protoss has the edge, but this is a really well played Protoss. This is really well played. Everything was on point in both games. But, all that aside, I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank you for sticking through to the end. And I hope to see you return once again in the future. And I hope to be bringing you high quality games just like this one once again in the future for you to enjoy. So leave a comment, leave a like, leave a subscribe, do whatever you want. You've got the power. And hope to be seeing you back around for the next video in the very near future. Bonsoir.